question?
Yeah.
Who's more the pep talker? The pep talker or the pep talker who gives Pep a pep talk?
Pep talker.
Shoulders back, smash it.
Sit there, please. Take your inhaler. Put it there and put my mask. You see that? And then we breathe in. Hey! He's gonna bring inhalers. He's bringing inhalers, bro. And then our players are gonna be running, bro. You know we say we don't track back, guys. You will see Madness track back. Our players will have inhalers in half time.
I need that. We need that.
Like that. You know when guys are wearing socks like that playing ball? I don't take you seriously. Pull out your socks like that. Yeah. Luke Shaw does the same thing. Florian Wirtz wears socks on his ankles. He wears socks on his ankles. Yeah. The Premier League, I dare you.
Good afternoon, and there is the one and only Hamza. Jesus, this layout needs to change. Welcome back to the Boys in Blue. It has been a while. First and foremost, I need to apologise because I've been in the chat blaming Nobbins and Martin for being late. Now, I'm going to say Nobbins wasn't late because I wasn't there. Martin, you were late, so you're not excused. However... No, you're not excused. You're not excused because you weren't there, right?
You sent me the wrong link.
No. You still messaged me and said I'm going to be 5 minutes late. So you're not out of this. You're not.
I was here bang on time, and I'm getting accused in the chat. I want everyone in the chat to take that back right now and apologise to me now.
Yeah, please, everyone. You have to apologise to Nobbins while I try and sort out this layout.
Everyone knows I'm late, so it's all right.
Well, you're definitely late today. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to have a layout for this. I'm going to have to change. Anyway, welcome back to the Boys in Blue. It has been flipping heck quite a few weeks, right? Quite a few weeks since we last did.
No, indeed, yeah. Oh, my goodness me.
Whoa.
There we go. Now the voice from above. But what we can do here is, right, see, we can make this work here. We're going to...
You don't want to zoom in on me.
Now we're going to make this work on the spot, right? Hold on. This is how I'm getting better, right? So I'm going to get rid of you. See you later. Then there's one, right? We're going to put me here. We're going to make me a bit thinner. And then we're going to copy. We're going to make him smaller. We're going to put him there. Make me a bit smaller again. Nobbins, you're still there. Still with us.
Yes.
Yes. That sounded very tedious.
I feel like this is sort of like the stuff that you do before you start a stream, I reckon.
You know what it is? But because you two weren't here, I couldn't do it before stream.
Yeah, anyway, that's crazy. Why weren't we here?
No comment, Your Honour. Anyway, listen.
It's
we're
like
here now.
To
We are here now.
it?
We're here now. We are here now. Ignore the start. We're here.
Edit that out. You know it's live.
Yeah, we're not live, are we? We can edit that out, right? We can do that in post.
I went live because I was waiting too long for you two, so I went live. Actually, Nobbins, genuinely, right? Because Marty was late. Nobbins, were you actually?
I was late by 2 minutes.
I can assure you, I was absolutely there, hand on heart. I was there at the correct time.
Yeah. All right. So, Robert, you're right. That's the L. I'll take the L. I tried to be prepared. The time that I do try and be prepared, I'm not prepared. That's just what happens. Blame hay fever. However, thank you, Hamza, for explaining that we are going to have. We are now going to have inhalers next season with Pep Linders. Certainly something I want to speak to Nobbins about. Not inhalers, but Pep Linders. And also that we don't want Wirtz because he wears his ankles. His socks around his ankles. So hey, it's a win-win. But this is my third streamer today, and about an hour ago when I was setting it up, I was thinking, fucking hell, I'm struggling here. I'm really struggling. I actually set up the thumbnail as Let Viana Cook, right? Because I feel that's something that we need to tell. Twitter's having a meltdown. Football YouTube's having Man City football YouTube's having a meltdown because we haven't got any here we goes yet. And then fucking Fabrizio comes out with you're going to get a here we go soon. Which, listen, I'll take at this point because we're desperate. Nobbins, I bet you was driving you mad, right?
Wait, what was driving me mad? Sorry.
The fact that everyone's having a meltdown that we haven't signed anyone yet.
Oh yeah. I didn't even realize that people were having a meltdown. To be honest.
Mate. Yeah. Meltdown.
Yeah. I didn't even realize that was happening. There's no rush. The transfer. How long has the transfer window been open? This one is it?
I mean, 3 days.
Technically 3 days, but I'm more going with 2 days because one of them was a Sunday.
Yeah. I mean. The deals are happening in the background. These are multi-million-pound deals that are going to take a lot of time to get everything finalized. Very good sources have said that we are almost definitely going to sign them. It's tranquilo. It's calma and tranquilo. It's fine. It's not a problem. We will be bringing
like lawyers involved and millions of pounds involved and agents involved.
Yeah, exactly. Look, if it gets to the point of the Club World Cup and it's like the day before the competition and we still haven't signed them, then I think that is a perfectly valid time to get upset and start thinking, "Whoa, what's happening here? We're not going to sign them in time for the competition." But we're not at that point yet. If it gets to the end of this week and it's still nothing's happened, then sure, then we can actually have a cause for concern. But if people are actually genuinely upset or having a meltdown, then they need to.
Well, the main one is
out.
like over the Cherki thing, for example. People are saying, "Oh, it's only a couple of million. Why are we bartering?" But it's like the kind
That's
of
how
way
business works, isn't it?
It's not a couple of mil. This is what people don't get. It's payment structure, not a couple of mil.
But
Martin, even if it were a couple of mil,
that's fine to barter over it. I use the example that. You don't really barter in England, but if you go abroad and you're buying something from a market, right?
Oh yeah, if
they say it's €20 and in England it's €100, you ain't going to go, okay, well your first thing was €20. You're still going to go, nah, I'll give you 10, right? Just because that's what you do. You look for a deal. And the other thing is, I saw somebody say, but time is not on our hands. We need it done by the Club World Cup. But the Club World Cup, right, is not for another. It's not for another 7 days till we have to register players, right? So we've still got 7 days on our hands. Even if we sign them, if everything is done right now, the players will not be reporting to Manchester City until the 11th at the absolute earliest, because the 3 that we think we're going to get over the line, Ait-Nouri, Cherki and Reijnders, all have... international football anyway.
So does Haaland. Haaland and Bob have been called up.
Hold on. We're not signing Haaland and Bob, mate. They already played for us.
No, what I mean is we might not even be taking 2 of the players we've got at the very beginning.
I
don't know what the panic's about at the minute.
No, but I don't think... No, hold on. But the difference is there's the date we have to register by, then there's the date we fly out. So we have to register them by the 10th, which is...
It's a week today.
A week, which is and it is an interesting one because the 10th is actually the day that Ait-Nouri and Reijnders potentially have games on the 10th. If France beats Spain, Cherki might also have a game, I think, on the 10th as well, right? So the medicals are going to be interesting, but the medicals can be done wherever they are, right?
But Ait-Nouri's been asked to miss. Reportedly, he's asked to miss the first game so he can do his medical test.
Oh, really?
He doesn't have to do his medical test in England.
No, of course not. No, Martin, hold on. Don't move on from a great point. You just let us know you're an ITK because that's something.
No, I didn't. Don't start that.
No. You just said that he's told the Algerian manager that he wants to miss the first game so he can do a medical.
Yeah, he's requested that so he can do medical stuff.
But that's important bit of information. We mustn't move on from that because not many of us have heard that. So please tell us what you know.
No, it was on Twitter earlier. That's what people were saying on Twitter earlier, the journals.
I didn't see that. I think you're lying. I think you got that on your little watch.
My little watch now.
Well, that's what it is now. The other day, Nobbins, he kept swiping away. Viana was ringing him and he was just swiping him.
Oh, wow. He's big time now. Big time now. Crazy. Getting personal DMs from Viana himself. That's mad.
Yeah. Oh, that's the circle he's moving in now. He can tell you all sorts.
Wow, he's going to delete our numbers soon.
You know what I think some of the meltdown is? I think it's some are still angry over last season. So it sounds weird saying that, by the way, last season when it was 10 days ago. So some still haven't relaxed from that and they want to see the movement. I don't think the Liverpool Cherki stuff, which Ornstein, by the way, did clarify that meeting was always planned. And then the Verts deal kicked in.
Yeah.
So he may have spoken to him. Doesn't stop him. Cherki will go to City. Liverpool are not buying Cherki. I've had Alan tweet
Alan's having a meltdown, mate.
He's going crazy about it.
Yeah. He's having a meltdown.
Liverpool are taking him.
Yeah.
Chill.
Yeah.
He's
messaging me.
Pre-planned meeting before the Verts deal got into the situation.
Yeah, he's messaged me a good few times. Sorry, just on this one, DAP's Nations League is a mini tournament. They will all play 2 games. Is that true? Because when I looked at France's went and looked at France's fixtures, at this point, it only has them playing 1 game, which is entitled semi-final. So,
wait, France's?
Yeah, so France are playing Spain in what I believe is the Nations League semi-final.
So if they get to the final, they'll play 2 games.
Yeah, but if they don't get to the final, they only play 1, right? Yeah.
Is there a third place game?
Unless there's a third place. Yeah, there is a third place. Jesus Christ, there's a third place game in the Nations League. That's mad.
Yeah.
Who wants to come
highest honour?
Fucking hell, yeah. And that sounds like an Arsenal trophy, that one. Third place in the Nations League. Okay, fair enough. Interesting. So Cherki will, and I think I just saw that Cherki will be will be staying with the main France team and not moving over to the under-21s.
This is his first. That's his international debut, right?
Yeah. If he starts, will be. Yeah. And then we sign him. Perfect. We only sign internationals.
That's good. Yeah, I wanted us to get more Liga players because I felt we needed them. Kasanov, that's a great shout. Cherki, another one. Liga is an untapped market sometimes, so I'm very happy with the signing.
Yeah. Well, right. So we have got the news now. I don't really think if it's that big a news, but hey, Fabrizio Romano has said, here we go soon, as clubs are now in process to complete the agreement and bring Reijnders to Manchester City before the Club World Cup. Yes, by the way, people keep telling me I'm butchering his name, but I give up. I've got too many people in the comments telling me to pronounce it in different ways now. So
Reijnders. I was told by a Dutch person it's like reindeer. Reijnders.
Yeah, Reijnders, right.
That's what a Dutch person told me. So yeah, let's go with that.
Because I was going with that at one point. Then people were telling me, no, it's Reijnders. So it's like, okay. Then I'm being criticised for calling it that. So Reijnders is in like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay. Hey, Martin, we'll have some fun with that at Christmas.
The chance that I'm going to come out from that's going to be better than Jingle Bells.
What's his first name?
Tijjani, is it?
Tijjani, the Blues, no Raiders.
Oh, God.
Instant
classic.
No, I still want the classic. Jingle Bells, that's the best one.
Which one was that?
Oh, what fun it is to see City win away.
Yeah, or there was...
I'm singing it at West Brom and Birmingham at Christmas.
There's another one as well recently. Who was the one recently? Who was the one last year? There was a Christmas one. Oh, Savio. Yeah, that's it.
Oh yeah, good one.
Yeah.
It's like Christmas. It's like the top 40 Christmas hits. It's
yeah. But right, I'm going to move on to Nobbins first on something. Now we actually have got some jokes out of the way. Pep Linders. I don't think it's been officially confirmed. It hasn't been confirmed by the club yet, has it?
Oh, I don't know.
Martin, Pep Linders. Has it been confirmed by the club?
No, apparently it's going to be confirmed when they come back.
Okay, and I actually saw you say they're on holiday together, him and Pep.
They've either been on holiday or they are away together.
Right, okay. So let's presume that he is coming in. How much do you think that will change us, Nobbins? Do you think we will see a complete... Because I've seen a lot of people acting like and Martin and I think, spoke on this yesterday, that Pep Lijnders coming in is going to, all of a sudden he's in charge and Pep's kind of like the assistant and everything's going to be the Lijnders way of doing it.
Yeah. I'm quite surprised at how much traction the news has got, to be honest. I don't really pay attention to assistant. I don't know if that's just me. I don't really pay attention to assistants. Like, I only knew Arteta because he was obviously like an ex-player, but I couldn't really name you many like assistants that City have had over the past few years, unless they've been quite prominent. I get that maybe the idea is that he could like bring this sort of his principles of out of possession and pressing and blah blah blah, but I don't see it being a sort of like a revolutionary appointment by City. I don't know how much it's going to change or impact City, because let's be honest, it's not going to change how Pep thinks or how he wants to play his style of football, is it?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe Pep does lean a lot on his assistant, but I don't know. I feel like he's more of like a person to bounce ideas off and to maybe check him if he's like going too far the other way. I don't think that Lijnders is being brought in to provide Guardiola with a load of new ideas about how to approach his style of play. Again, maybe I'm wrong, but I think that it's good for people to get excited by it. I just don't know if it's that important or relevant, to be honest. It's nice that, Klopp's ex-man is now going to be our assistant. It's cool. But I don't.
That pretty much sums it up. That's how I feel about it. The Pep's not going to be like, oh, fucking hell, all right, fair enough.
I don't remember David Platt telling Mancini to get in the bin. I'm doing what I'm doing, and Bowen telling Matt Hughes what to do. Come on,
yeah.
We're suddenly giving assistant manager the power of the club. Go on, mate.
Yeah, it's nice that they're both called Pep, though. That's a nice little bonus. But that's the way I'm looking at it. To be fair, it's like Pep the same thing with like
with that, can't he?
In fact,
they go, come.
No, I was just saying, I can't give credit. I can't remember who the person was on Twitter, but it was really good. They made the point of Chelsea hired Brentford's set piece specialist or set piece coach. Brentford are obviously fantastic at set pieces. Chelsea at that time weren't, and Chelsea set pieces didn't improve. Yeah. So it's not as simple as just taking one from the other. Oh, we take Pep Lijnders over here. Now City are going to become this out of possession behemoth. It's not as that straightforward, and it's not as copy and paste. It would be interesting if it were, and then it would be a much better appointment. But yeah, it's not as simple as just
people do that with players. Nobbins, I find you always get Mo Salah did all this for Liverpool. It'll be amazing with City, man. No, it's different system, different managers, different everything. You can't just copy and paste players into everyone's system.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. This is why some players succeed at other clubs and then do well at other clubs. But that's why you might sign a player and then they turn into like a flop. Like there are players who can succeed in certain dynamics, and there are players that can't. Like Lukaku, he did very well at West Brom. He did very well at Everton. He's done well in Italy, but he didn't do well at United, for example. Even though in theory United should have been a better side at the time than Everton and West Brom. And yet he wasn't. So it's not that's one example of many, but it's not as simple as just he's a good player and he'll be good no matter what, or he's a good coach / assistant and he'll translate directly across. There's a bit more nuance to it than that.
Scott McTominay. Scott McTominay just won Italian Player of the Year.
That's another great example.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, another great example. Yeah, definitely. It's
Yeah.
about utilization and like environment and that sort of thing. And this is why I know we're not. This is like detracting from the point, but it's why like players who City have sold in the past, people go, oh, maybe it was a mistake to sell them, but they wouldn't have necessarily thrived in the same City shape. Yeah. So it depends, I think, on a case to case basis.
Yeah, spot on with that as well. Right, there's 471 people in here. Likes are at 151. That means probably about 320 of you potentially have not liked the video.
Freeloaders.
100% freeloaders. And of course, if you're watching it on playback as well, please, everyone, just make sure you're checking your like button and that your like button is lit. Really, really helpful channel.
Jay Fresh, Jay calling me out in the comments.
What's that?
Calling me out. Yes, I did say that. I said I don't mind.
Well, there we go. We move on to the next one. Right, first question to the. By the way, in the poll, I've asked. Do you trust Khaldoon? 95% of you have said, yes, you do trust Khaldoon. That is good. The reason why I asked that is because Khaldoon has come out and made a statement. We're going to be our business or our planned business, we are very clear and we're going to be very swift. We will get the players in time for the Club World Cup. Now, the reason why I ask that is because if people trust Khaldoon, if he has come out, made that statement, then the club that he is the chairman of has edited that video and left that statement in there and released it to the masses. He must be very confident that he can achieve the goal he has set himself, right? So please, I'm just going to keep repeating this. I know this isn't everyone. Manchester City fan base, don't have a meltdown because we haven't bought 7 players in the first 2 days of the transfer window. Please, please, please. So
I'm just
again,
2 windows. This isn't the one and only window. There are 2 windows.
Yeah. I mean, the second window, I think, is going to be a lot more. I personally think the second window, we're going to have to be a lot more patient in. If we want anyone in the second window, we're going to have to be a lot more patient, but we'll probably move on to that later. But this first window, I think from what we're seeing, Reijnders is going to be done very, very soon. Then we move on to Cherki. Now, me personally, I do think Cherki happens. I think Cherki wants City. I think the amount they want, the difference is not big. Nobbins, are you a Cherki fan? Or do you say, I don't eat Cherki, it's foul?
Ha 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 ha. Very good, very good. Yeah, I am actually, yes. I was not one of the reasons why I wasn't the biggest proponent of the Wirtz signing was because I was concerned about the amount of money and resources that were being allocated. So that's why I never really made much content on it or tweeted much about it because I wasn't particularly interested in the signing. That's not a discredit to him as a player, but I just thought it was massively overpriced, and I was concerned about all the other areas we needed to improve upon. Yeah. Cherki, on the other hand, is a player who I believe isn't that far off him in respect of overall quality, isn't that far off him in respect of the main areas that we would want Wirtz, which is essentially being a pass-first player and being a creator via the pass. This De Bruyne alternative, whatever you want to say. In fact, he actually betters him in a number of metrics in respect of that creation alone. Yeah, the difference is he's going to be a fraction of the price. Yeah, I don't know the exact amounts being quoted around, but it's if Wirtz is going to be around 120 and Cherki around 30, that's a quarter, isn't it? So it's a massive difference for a player who I believe is of a similar level of quality and would offer a similar amount of work to City. And that means that there's far more money to be allocated to the areas of the pitch that we desperately need. And that's why I'm much more interested in this signing than the Wirtz one, because it means that resource allocation is a lot more... It's easier to visualize it and go, right, we're not splashing 130 million on one player who is more of a cherry on top signing. Signing Wirtz alone isn't going to be good enough. We need a left back, right back, midfield, etc. It seems to me like now City can hopefully put, if they had in their head, we've got a certain amount of money to spend. In theory, that means there's now a big pot to assign to another area of the pitch, whether that's another midfielder, whether it's another fullback, whatever. So I'm very big on it, and I'm big on him as a player. I think that he's a fantastic talent. He's already very experienced. He's been playing top flight football for about 5 years. And I think that he would suit City very well, and he would raise our technical floor, which is exactly what we are after. So yeah, very, very big on the signing, to be honest.
Yeah. I think you're spot on with the whole... I've said this earlier on, that when the Wirtz deal collapsed, shall we say collapsed, or Man City pulled out of the Wirtz deal, I remember seeing somewhere that Viana needed to have a sit down with Pep and discuss the kind of the transfer structure. And then I think after we beat after we beat Fulham last game of the season and we got Champions League football, I believe on the following Monday, there was a meeting. Now, I don't think it's a coincidence that the Livramento thing has come up, because I think that is a perfect example of what would probably happen. We were probably looking at, a Wesley for 40 million euros, I think it was. Brazilian, kind of unknown. Now, all of a sudden, we're looking at potentially up to 80 million Livramento deal. But why? Because if the overall budget, we're well within budget, and we really, really are. I mean, if you're talking, we're potentially going to get Reijnders, Ait-Nouri, and Cherki for the price of Wirtz. That leaves a big pot of money that can, whether it is allocated to additional players or if it's allocated to, right, instead of going for our fourth choice right back now, we can go for our number one choice right back. I really do think that would be it.
Yeah, definitely. And especially if we are looking at Livramento, because he's the name that's come up a lot, hasn't he?
Yeah.
We need... that signing becomes even more important because of the, I don't know how much this has been discussed on We Are the South Stand, but if we sign Reijnders, Cherki, and Ait-Nouri, then we are at our capacity for non-homegrown players.
Right, is that what it is? Because I know I do need, when I get a minute, to watch your video. People go over to Nobbin and watch his video I really need to watch it, because I know I keep probably butchering this whole homegrown thing, so...
People don't realise how dangerous we're close. And it isn't just... Nobbins did it perfectly. So I've mentioned it on LB's a year ago. It's not just this. It's not just this season. It's a year and two down the line. Because what you got to realise is Sabio's going to go up into the foreign contingent.
Kusanov too, yeah.
Kusanov next season goes into the foreign contingent. Right. And at some point, and I think it will be next summer, we're going to have to do a homegrown transfer window.
Sorry, people, please make sure you head over to Nobbin's channel to watch that. It's very simple. After this show ends, the title of this show has got Mancunian Way and Nobbins in it. Just click on Nobbin's name. That'll take you over there, and then you can watch the video.
And then come to the Mancunian Way.
And then come to the Mancunian Way at 9:30 for your show. Perfect.
There you go.
There's your evening done. But just to give me a simple breakdown of it, is it a bit of a percentage thing where basically the more foreign players you have, the more homegrown players you also must have?
The basic Premier League rule is different for Champions League, but the basic Premier League rule is that you are allowed a maximum of 17 non-homegrown players.
Right, okay, got you.
So you can have as many homegrown players as you want. You can have as many under 21 players as you want as well. City are at 40. With De Bruyne leaving, City are now at 14. So if we bring in 3 non-homegrowns, that takes us to the cap, the maximum.
Right, okay. But then again, I would imagine if Gundo goes or Bernardo goes, then it drops one.
Indeed, and that sounds great in the short term. That's fine. However, not so. The season beginning, the language is so weird because the season's just happened. The season of 26-27, so not next season, the season after that, if that makes sense. Both Savio and Kusanov, as far as the Premier League are concerned, are now going to move away from being under 21 players to non-homegrown players. So that's going to be another 2, without even signing anyone, that's another 2 added to that list. So even if we sell, let's say Gundogan and Bernardo, it looks like unlikely we'll be able to sell Kova now because of the injury. Let's say we sell those this summer to give us like a bit more breathing room. First of all, it means we can't bring anyone else in the summer if that's the idea, who's non-homegrown. But next year, all those 2 gaps get immediately filled up. So it means that we're either going to have to sell even more non-homegrown players, which could obviously happen. But even if we're doing that, we're sort of, again, we're walking this tightrope, and we're sort of like doing it seasonal. Exactly, yes. So something needs to happen at some point, and I do suspect that we will need to have a summer where there is a big focus on these non-homegrown players. And to be fair, that's what City have always had. Like, under Mancini, we had Richards, we had Barry, we had Lescott, Joe Hart as well. And under Pep, we've had players like Stones and Sterling and Walker. There's always been a core and Ake as well. Technically, there's always been this core of homegrown players at City. So we sort of have to try to rediscover that, I think.
So then another question, away from the fact of now I know that you're only allowed 17 foreign players.
Yeah,
Is that what
non-homegrown.
they're-
Yes,
non-
well, because
non-homegrown,
Ake's
right?
homegrown because
Right,
he
yeah.
in the Chelsea academy, so it's not technically foreign, but yeah,
Do you
non-homegrown.
have to have a certain number of homegrown players as well?
Just to fill up the squad, but not
Just to
really.
fill up
No.
the squad, right?
Yeah,
Okay, so
exactly.
it's only,
There is no.
You can have 0, but your squad's max.
Yeah.
You're max 17. Got it. So
Before
this whole homegrown
The
thing
Premier
is not the
League,
thing. It's not
different
actually
for UEFA.
homegrown. It's non-homegrown. You need to worry
Yes.
about.
Yeah, it's different for
Right.
UEFA though.
Yeah.
As
Yes.
Nobbins, I like
UEFA is
like,
trickier, and that is where there is a minimum requirement for not only homegrown players but also club trained players. So players
Right.
like Foden, Rico Lewis, etc., etc.
Right.
So UEFA introduces another obstacle, but basically, as long as you can get the Premier League rules locked in, as long as you adhere to those, then you're probably fine for the UEFA ones as well, with some caveats. But in general, if you're fine for the Premier League, you're probably fine for the UEFA as well, based on City's current squad anyway.
So I think probably right. So with that in mind, if I'm just thinking out loud here, I would say that, right, Manchester City have deemed that Ait-Nouri, that Reijnders, and that Cherki are 3 essential players that they want no matter what, right?
Yes.
And then the second window, more than likely, will be, right, well, we're going to have to be far more careful there. So let's see who's leaving first before we start to address those. Because then once they know who's leaving, they then kind of can know how many spaces they've got.
Yeah, and this is why...
If they need to go and get Morgan Gibbs-White and Livramento, potentially.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And
that's why,
I think that second window, because you will get some clubs in this window, which I don't think has been talked about actually. This used to be called your PSR window.
Right.
So everyone had till 30th of June to get books in order. So like Villa now. I was reading Stefan Bourson did a great piece. When was it, Nobbins? 2 days ago, when he put the list out of clubs that are very close.
Oh, right.
PSR levels. There was Wolves, Villa, Chelsea, even United were in there. But they weren't PSR. Newcastle were mentioned again, but that wasn't for PSR. That was for the UEFA issue for Newcastle, because UEFA has a different PSR than the Premier League. They're running on the 70% of your turnover ratio, whereas the Premier League is still running on this 105 loss over 3 years thing. It's, I only know this thanks to the likes of Nobbins and Stefan, where I've literally...
Well, no, Nobbins educated me quickly, but I'm going to go and watch the video later. But it does make sense to me. It massively makes sense to me, and why it's so important. And this is another thing at the moment, I think, as well, with, the club being able to do like I saw someone earlier on was going on, but we haven't sold anyone yet. Why haven't we sold anyone yet? And it was like, well, look, we can, and the club can announce that Kevin De Bruyne is leaving. Why? Because Kevin De Bruyne is on the last couple of weeks of his contract. If his contract isn't getting renewed, which they've agreed, he is leaving. There's no, it's very simple. You have no contract, you don't work here no more, we get paid no wages. I no longer work for Santander, as an example. But with everyone else, like Jack Grealish is an example, however much the club might want to sell Jack Grealish, they can't confirm that Jack Grealish will be leaving the club, because ultimately, if no one comes in and offers anything for Jack Grealish, well, Man City aren't going to we worked out earlier, for City to terminate Jack Grealish's contract, it would probably cost about 30 million, right? Would that, we'd have to pay his whole wage for the next 2 years.
We'd have to pay some. No, we have to pay. Correct me if I'm wrong on this, Nobbins. We have to pay the difference of what he'd get from his new club. So, say his new club offer him 150 grand a week. Grealish is within his rights to say, I've still got 2 years left on my City deal. I'm losing 150 grand a week, and City pay the difference. So it goes on the back. They just pay it as a lump. Sort of job on the back end. So they don't have to pay all the 300 grand. It's the difference between
but hold on, that's if he's going somewhere else. If actually
if he's staying at City, then City have to pay up his contract.
Or if City said we don't want you on the books anymore,
and that goes on your PSN.
Quite simply, by the way, I'm only saying that they wouldn't do that. They would not do that
No.
because they'd rather try and get some money back through the sale. But yeah, okay, that makes perfect sense. So second window, that's where we probably are gonna hold out a bit longer because maybe we will need to get a Morgan Gibbs-White. If I would imagine if, say, a Bernardo Silva was to go, then the club would probably be looking at the likes of maybe a Morgan Gibbs-White to come in, because then that would help to balance out the homegrown quota. Okay, question to you, Nobbins. I know you need to leave probably soon. Question for you. I asked LB this earlier, and to you, Martin. What do you two think of if we can't get Livramento? Would either of you two take? And this is of the thinking that Levy would not hold us at ransom because he's their third choice. Would either of you take Jed Spence?
I think Spence is a fine player, and I think there's a reason he's at Spurs. He's
was the most political answer of ever.
Yeah, no, I know. I like Spence. Big up to Spence because I had a Borough FM career save and he was my boy, obviously. But yeah, I think he's a good player. I think he's fine. And that's where I'm at with that.
That's it.
Sorry, that sounds really mean, but that's where I'm at with it.
See, I don't know, because I hear what you're saying. He's not the quality that you want, but
at that point, I would rather just get Ait-Nouri from Forest as like a short-term solution, as like a stopgap, and then maybe next year get a proper right back. I don't want to do that either, by the way. But if we're talking about getting in a player who isn't good enough, I'd rather at least get a player who.
Have you got to be homegrown?
See, I think that's
the thing. Ait-Nouri's homegrown as well, so that would also work.
Yeah. How much would
he
cost? How much do you think he would cost?
You're looking at the wrong guy in Tottenham.
Who are you wanting, Martin?
I'd want Porro.
Yeah, but he's not home. He's not. Is he?
No, that's why I said easy.
But there's two things. The reason why I said Spence was for a reason that I think if you're talking Porro, firstly, I don't think Porro and Ait-Nouri, I don't think there's enough balance there. I think both of them like to go forward too much, so I don't think there's balance there. I think Levy would try and hold out for about 65 million for Porro, and I'm pretty certain Porro would not class as homegrown.
No, it doesn't.
I don't think it is.
That's why I asked.
Sorry, is Ait-Nouri, is he on a free?
No, he was on a free, but Nottingham Forest have had a
bastards.
You know this 1 year automatic extension that they can do.
Oh yes,
they've triggered that apparently.
Oh, okay.
So he's still got another year. But the one thing I will say, which is very, very, because with transfers, so I know we're going. I like, you mentioned that about Forest. I like to connect dots. Lyon are in negotiations to buy Danilo from Forest for 20 million quid. Now, Lyon are meant to be skint and in major financial issues. So where have they suddenly got 20 odd million pounds from to go and buy Danilo out of Forest from?
Breaking news. Are you saying we're getting Cherki?
I'm telling you, I'm connecting dots up. Cherki will be a City player. Lyon haven't just pulled 25 million out their ass when they're in financial crisis.
I hear you.
Connect the dots, people. Connect the dots.
Okay, yeah, no, I don't know. I don't mind Spence. I hear what you're saying. Spence is certainly not Livramento to me, but if we're talking about stopgap, I'm thinking if we could get Spence for like 35 million, by the way, because I think they pay about 15 for him, so it'd be a profit.
Have you met Daniel Lever?
I know, but this is a thing. If it was O'Doggy or if it was Porro, I hear it. But if we were offering 20 million more than they paid for Spence, I actually think Spence is quite balanced as well. But yeah, fair enough. I'll go with that, Nobbins. Anyway,
third choice, I'd rather run Nunes.
But just because he's their third choice fullback, not third choice right back, third choice fullback, he also does play on the left and right. That doesn't mean that our central midfielder that's currently playing right back is better than him just because he's Tottenham's third choice. Come on, you can't just do that, Martin. That is being That
I
is
think
being
he's very good at
entitled
that.
and arrogant.
No, don't start that. You
That's
love
being
to throw
entitled
that
and
at me.
arrogant. One thing, just while we're talking on fullbacks, can I just clear up as well? Because I've been on 3 shows today, and whether it be someone in the comments or whether it be someone that comments after the show, from us mentioning that City are interested in Livramento, I have seen Newcastle fans calling us arrogant and entitled and thinking that, oh, you've changed now. You lot think you can come in and get anyone. No. On every show, we have said how difficult getting Livramento will be, right? It will be very difficult. We'll have to pay top dollar for him. We want him because we rate him so highly. That does not mean we think we can just come and take him off of Newcastle. We're just speaking on it because the truth is, a respected tier 1 journalist has said he's one of City's main targets. So that must mean that City have been given some sort of indication that if the correct fee was paid, that, well, I would say probably 2 indications could cause that. One, if the club, Newcastle, have given an indication that if someone paid X amount of money, they could get him. Or the other indication would be that Livramento has maybe said, I'd be open to a move, right? City won't just be moving on someone based on based on the fact that we want him. It certainly doesn't mean we want him. But anyway, Nobbins, I know you need to move on. What are you having for dinner, by the way?
Chicken breast. I don't know how I'm going to do it yet. I'm going to butterfly it though.
Okay.
Like
maybe
sweet
with some.
filler.
It's all right. Yeah, I might have it with some spicy rice or something. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I haven't decided yet.
See, I've got chicken, boneless chicken thighs out, and I'm thinking to do a Caesar salad. But yeah, actually, and with the weather like this, I probably am going to do a Caesar salad. Yeah, I'm probably not going to do a curry or anything like that. So anyway, Nobbins, thank you for joining us.
No worries at all.
Appreciate you coming on, and I will catch up with you next week.
Thank you guys so much. Have a lovely stream,
See
guys.
you later.
Bye.
Bye.
See you in a bit.
Right then, let's make Martin bigger.
Bloody hell, you don't
People,
want to make me any bigger.
572 people in here. Love to see that. Only 265 of you, however, have liked the video. So please, if you haven't already, make sure you like that video. Right, Martin. Any other news for us?
No, I mean, the one thing I will say, I think you're spot on, because I was having a chat with a Newcastle fan, by the way, about that.
Oh, yeah, massive pause on that. You're right.
I said, how come you're getting really sort of edgy and think about this? Because if you see, they've gone mad about Mbemo, who's gone, obviously, chose United over Newcastle.
Yeah.
And some of the nastiness they've said about him, I'm like, I get it. It's fine. You know, listen, you said it perfectly. They should be taking it as a compliment that teams want their players. It means the players are good.
Yeah, but that's exactly it. And not once have I heard any. I mean, do you know what? Maybe something on Twitter, but I haven't even seen people on Twitter saying, "Yeah, if we want Livramento, we're going to come and get him."
Yeah, but everyone has said it's going to be hard and it's going to cost over 80 million quid to get him out the door.
Yeah, 100% agree. He's good, but the fact that we want him because he's a fucking good player. He's a very good player.
Personally, I think Cherki, Ait-Noure, I think Reijnders all gets done, and then I think Khaldoon was saying the right stuff in that interview. I don't think we'll get everyone we want.
No. I don't think it. Right, for us to, especially now, I understand the homegrown thing even more. We won't be able to. We need to get. We need to know who's going first. Like you can't. And like prime example is before the injury, people were saying. In fact, Martin, we spoke on Friday, right? And on Friday, we were saying, yeah, there's a chance that Cover might go. Now, getting rid of Kovacic is going to be near on impossible.
Yeah, because he's not going to be available till about December, January before he's going again.
No, it's only 3 months he's out for.
No, I meant to get back to full match fitness.
And the difference is, someone mentioned Gundogan. With Gundogan, he was, what, when we bought Gundogan, was he 24? 24, 25, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
We're now 22, 23. Been here for 7. He was Pep's second signing.
He's 34 now. So now 26 he would have been.
Yeah.
I
always forget who. I know Gundo come first, but I know him and John Stones were like.
And Nolito.
Like a week apart, yeah.
And Nolito.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Scored
getting
at Stoke and
involved
you never
in the
saw
league-
him again.
Do you know what? I put on something the other day about Nolito, and someone said who. Someone had put who's City's best ever sign. I put Nolito, and someone said who, and they're actually being serious. They didn't know who Nolito was. I thought, to be fair, I do get it, but
That was it. You know, it was sad actually when you read up on that. When you read his daughter didn't settle in England.
is that what it
at
was?
all. Yeah, his daughter just did not settle in England, and she cried a lot. And very much a bit like Negredo.
Negredo one was mental, mate, because Negredo for the first 6 months, Negredo and Aguero together were just.
Oh,
It was just a perfect partnership.
it was like Dwight York and Nicole. In
Yeah,
the
it
pub
was. It
they
really,
see
it
together.
really, really was. And then what was it? He got a wrist injury or something, then never recovered.
Yeah, he had that bandage on his wrist for the rest of his City career. You never saw him again.
Yeah.
Very weird. But no, look, listen, I'm actually excited. The Ederson one is the one that really intrigues me.
Well, hold on. Which Ederson?
The goalie Ederson.
Right.
I'm not
Okay.
even entertaining. They're not, that's a lot of
Well,
waffle.
no. Hold on. So with the other one, now I understand the homegrown thing a little bit more, right? I do think we're going to have to get in at least one of the players we sign this summer. I believe will be homegrown, right? It might be Livramento, it might be Morgan Gibbs-White if we can get him at the right price, or they might go and look elsewhere. But I think the Ederson thing comes from the fact that we probably do think we need maybe one more midfielder, right?
100%.
So, and that's where I think that throughout this transfer window, if you think about it, we've had Ederson links, as in Ederson at Atlanta. We've had Gabriel Sarr links.
The guy at Club Bruges.
And we've had the Club Bruges guy. So I do think we probably are going to bring in one more midfielder, right?
I think we need to because we are, and this is I don't want to slight on anything here because I know people take it the wrong way. Nico Riley is going to be a great footballer, a great player, but he's still only 20 years old.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in it. Where it worries me is you're 1 or 2 injuries away from going back. If we sell everyone we think or may go, Kovacic is injured again. You 1 or 2 injuries. We don't know what Phil Foden's going to come back like, in all fairness. So we have to be honest.
100% on that, bro. 100% on that, yeah.
On the other side, so we're 1 or 2 injuries away from going right back to the kids again.
Yeah, but when you say going back to the kids, see, this is a conversation I think we had on LB's show earlier. For me, right, Rico Lewis for me was good enough to be in our treble-winning squad in 2023, right? Now, I don't want to see, with us getting fullbacks, I don't want to see Rico Lewis play left back or right back ever again, right? However, I would love Rico Lewis to be given a chance in an 8 role.
In his natural role.
His natural role, 8-10 role.
Yeah.
More advanced 8, whatever you want to call it. I think that Rico Lewis is good enough to be a squad player this season. If he was good enough to be a squad player when he was 18 years old in a treble-winning team, right? And if we're being honest, if we look at the performances where Rico Lewis has looked out of sort over the last 2 years, 3 years, it's been at fullback. It has not been in the middle of the park, right? And this comment here, Rico is championship level. Rico Lewis is championship level as a fullback, right? I agree with you. As a fullback, he is. As a midfielder, I disagree.
Championship level players don't score in FA Cup semi-finals at Wembley against Notts Forest.
But this is the thing. I can go back a year and a half ago and talk about his performance against teams in the Champions League, latter stages, where he was playing in a midfield role.
Was it Liverpool he played very well against as well? No, I don't mean this year. Was it last in the treble year? I'm sure he played.
Yeah. But in the treble year, right, in the treble year, we predominantly saw Rico Lewis at home against Premier League clubs. I'm not meaning your Arsenals, your Liverpools, your Man United so much, but teams that we had, I mean, Man United, to be fair, might be one of them, but teams that we had a lot of the ball, where ultimately Rico Lewis would start as a right back, but ultimately would invert and spend the whole of the game camped in the other team's half, playing in a midfield role alongside Rodri, he was fine at, right? If he was fine doing that at the age of 18, yeah, 2 years later, Rico Lewis is good enough to be a midfielder for me, right? Not a starter, but as part of our midfield unit or midfield squad. I think Rico Lewis is good enough.
Here's my issue with Rico, and I totally 100% agree with everything you just said. My issue with Rico is not, is he good enough to be a squad player? It's whether is Rico Lewis happy enough to just be a squad player.
Martin, and that is exactly what I said earlier, that for me, I don't want to see him as a fullback. And the other thing is...
that's the problem. When everyone's fit, is Rico Lewis ever going to get in and take over that spot?
Yeah, because, right, so as an example, Rico Lewis has done a job as a fullback. For me, the only times I haven't thought Rico Lewis has performed is when he's been at fullback, right? Now, and when he's been at fullback in a dysfunctioning City team, he doesn't look strong enough, right? And that's fine. Now, Nico O'Reilly, on the other side, he's actually shown that as a fullback, he can function. It makes perfect sense. Why? Because he's more physical. Simple, right? He's more physical. Rico Lewis is too
big. He's 6'2", 6'3", whatever he is. He's a big unit and he can move with the ball.
Yeah. So if we're looking at who is a utility player going into next season, I think Nico O'Reilly is a good utility player to have next season, where he can cover on the left, hopefully gets a bit of time, whether it be in an 8 role. The one I struggled to see is where people say he can do the Rodri role. We don't have any evidence of him doing the Rodri role.
He's not physically strong enough to do the...
The only person that said he could do the Rodri role was Pep at the start of last season, right? But ultimately, Pep said last summer, Nico O'Reilly could do the Rodri role, right? And then when Rodri got injured, how many times did Pep, who said Nico could do the Rodri role, how many times did he play Nico in the Rodri role? Not once. So
exactly. And he said it about O'Reilly and then moved O'Reilly to left wing back.
No, I'm meaning O'Reilly. That's what I mean.
That's my thing with O'Reilly. Yeah. People thought I was having a go at him, and I wasn't. I watched him a couple of times in midfield. When I'm seeing him struggle or look a little bit nervous, he's in the midfield role.
Yeah.
When he's played as a left wing back, he looks like he's been there for 5 years and he's a season pro. But when he, and there was a game, I always remember it, the 6-0 away at Ipswich. We were 4-0 up and he comes on.
Yeah.
And again, it's a bit of a different, it's hard coming on at 4-0 because you remember that game, everyone was marching forward, everyone was trying to score goal after goal after goal after goal. And he got a little bit giddy. And then he played midfield in the Community Shield at Wembley. And he said, I froze a little bit. And then, funnily enough, played at Wembley the last time and was a bit,
Yeah.
So I'm not, O'Reilly as a left wing back, I think he's amazing. I think he needs time to develop in the midfield.
Agreed.
Especially in a Pep midfield. Because a Pep midfield is very different to any other midfield.
100%. And this is where I think that if I look at Nico O'Reilly as a left back, I think he's doing a great job, right? Now, if I'm talking about, and let me be clear with where I am with Rico Lewis. I don't want Rico Lewis as a fullback. If Rico Lewis is staying to potentially play as a fullback, sell him.
Yeah, you might as well get rid.
I don't want to see Rico Lewis as a fullback. But if Rico Lewis is staying, and we have to remember, by the way, Rico Lewis and Nico O'Reilly are the same age, right? I know Rico's been about for longer. There's 6 months difference in their age, right? They're both 20 years old. One was born in March, one was born in November. 6-7 months, right? But Rico Lewis, for me, is more of a Pep-style midfielder than Nico O'Reilly is, right? I just would like to see Rico given some time this season being played in a midfield role. And like you said, Martin, will he ever be a starter for Manchester City? Maybe not. He's 20 at the moment, so I can't make that call.
This is where I'm very conflicted on the Club World Cup. I'm going to go into it more on Thursday because I've seen a lot of people. Hamza's one. I got killed by Hamza last night in a space because he said I had no standards because I'm not bothered about the Club World Cup in terms of winning it.
Are you bothered now?
No, because you just said the whole point. The Club World Cup is technically, yes, it's a tournament, but it's the only pre-season we've got.
Yeah.
We're going to have new players, new backroom staff, When do we implement or test anything? I don't want to be going into the first Premier League game testing things.
Well, when does the Club World Cup end?
July, early July.
Right. So,
Well,
I mean,
middle of July.
LB said this earlier. LB said he thinks that we might have 1 or 2 friendlies after the Club World Cup. Maybe.
I think he's going to give him the time off to go away. I think
You
he'll
reckon?
say go and have another 2 weeks off.
You don't reckon any maybe behind closed door friendlies or
I
anything
think you
like
might
that?
get some, yeah. I think you might get some behind closed doors. But you know this, Daps, they're always doing games.
Yeah.
Pep has them up against the EDS. People think that the EDS get called up and then they come and they don't. Pep sees the EDS 4 and 5 times a week.
Yeah.
Because he has them going training with the first team, doing matches. And, you know, they're always doing matches or what they call shadow training. What's the bomber? Was someone saying bomber? What's the bomber?
Yeah. Who's saying bomber?
Everyone's saying Ben Jacobs has done a bomber.
Oh, Ben Jacobs. I don't really overly rate Ben Jacobs, but let's have a
Oh, yeah. City now working on finalising with Ait-Noure ahead of approaching Wolves. The value of the left back at 40 to 45.
Hold on, where's this? I ain't gone on Ben Jacobs. That's a
City
different
actually have got it now.
I've gone on Ben Jacobs, and the first thing I've seen is Pornhub to suspend porn in France. Different Ben Jacobs.
What are you on?
Bo, I'll share screen. Listen, just to prove, I typed in Ben Jacobs. Where am I?
You said Ben Jacobs and not Ben something else.
What, bend over?
Yeah.
Now, bro,
Pause.
look, Ben Jacobs.
Is that Mo Salah?
It looks like Mo Salah pretending to be Ben Jacobs.
That's what I mean. What's going on here?
Look, when you scroll down, Pornhub to suspend porn in France. Wrong Ben Jacobs.
Yeah, that is the wrong Ben Jacobs.
Right, so hold on. Come on, bring me the right Ben Jacobs.
Oh, he's a guy with glasses.
There he is. Him.
It's the second one down.
There we go. Right. So what are we saying? Understand Manchester City are working on finalising terms with Rayan Ait-Nouri ahead of approaching Wolves. No bid made yet. Wolves value. Right, so only that's shit to me. So that's telling me that we haven't even agreed personal terms with Ait-Nouri, let alone approach Wolves yet.
That's what I mean. I think, listen, all 3 are going to happen.
I mean, that one for me means we ain't going to get fucking Ait-Nouri for about a week.
But did you see Simon Bajowski yesterday? Simon Bajowski said he was going to be the first one in the door.
Yeah.
So the MEN think he's... The MEN are reporting it. He's way down the line.
Very true. Very, very true.
I don't know what the hell's going on anymore. I mean, personally, I actually think that's done. You could tell with his interview yesterday. He looked like he was...
Oh, he knows where he wants to go.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is, but I'm excited. The Ederson one is the one, like I said, that's the one that I'm intrigued with. Because he's either got to sign some form of extension. I don't want to be going into this season with him in an open 12-month contract.
Well, have you seen? So earlier on when I was on LB's stream, a gentleman called Craig that I think is a bit in the know.
Craig Party-Time. Yeah.
He mentioned that. Apparently Ederson's being offered a 2-year extension at 150 grand a week. So he's currently on 100 grand a week.
12-month. What I got to was 12-month extension to get a fee because they don't want him to go, and it was 2, 3, and they were going to go up to wherever it was. I don't think he'll agree at 150.
What, you think he'll want more?
Yeah, I don't think he agrees at 150 at all. Sadly, that's what bothers me. I mean, obviously, you see the news today about Carson.
Yeah.
There's another homegrown gone.
But the Carson one for me is a bit of a sign that maybe they are thinking Ederson might go. I don't know. That's just me thinking that Carson is literally Ederson's best mate.
There's also a story this morning about James Trafford.
Oh, Alan will like that.
Yeah, well, I haven't told him yet.
He'll wake up for that one, won't he? Fucking hell.
You went to hear him yesterday. I thought we were getting the English 11 together. Thought the English national team were coming in the way we were talking.
He does make me chuckle. Right, super chat. Cusso and Nunes at right back and get signings in other spots. Do you know what? Right. So for me, I kind of appreciate the super chat, US citizen. For me, I'm more than happy with Nunes as a second choice right back. Right. I'll be honest with you. If we get all the signings I'm hearing about over the line, I won't be mad if we end up going into next season with Nunes at right back. I won't be overly.
I'm keeping Nunes.
Yeah, I'm keeping Nunes. Nunes would be one of the. Yeah, Nunes I'm keeping 100%. Kuznetsov at right back for me, right? I can't see him as a right back, right? However, with Ait-Nouri, if we had Ait-Nouri, I could potentially see Pep playing Ait-Nouri, Vardiol, Diaz.
So it drops into a 3 then.
And he
so
drops
you're saying 8-0 goals and we drop to a 3.
Yeah.
That's possible. And then he becomes the right-sided centre back.
Yeah. Ultimately, the other thing with that is that would then allow Vardiol to go a little bit further forward as well, knowing that Kuznatsov's fucking pace, is that extra insurance. So
I'll tell you what it is. I think Diaz and I think Kuznetsov needs to find out with Diaz. I don't think Diaz should be guaranteed any first choice centre back next year.
Yeah.
Kushnov's got to apply pressure onto Ruben Diaz. Now, I don't think Ruben Diaz has been as bad as people are proclaiming. That some of the stuff I've heard about his dress sense and who he's sleeping with, Maya Jammer, his YouTube channel. You know, my God, people talk like these footballers are going home to like prisons and they shouldn't be allowed out.
I saw Bernardo Silva and Nunes up in Diaz's comments on his pictures mocking him, and I think it's absolutely fucking brilliant. The best one. Someone had commented saying, "Why does he look like a geography teacher in the morning, and then he's got training in the afternoon?" And Maya Jammer actually laughed.
You've got to have lives. I want them. You go to work. You go to work for a bit of fun, and you meet friends, and you make friends, and you go and work night out, etc. It's the same thing. People are taking footballers as fat. I get it's a sport and they're paid way, way too much money. I get all that. But movie stars all go out on the piss and they all go out on the lash, etc. And they're getting 20, 30 million a movie.
Do you know why I think, right? Do you know why I think it's funny with Diaz? And I think it's funny that Bernardo and Nunes are mocking him, right? Is because from the interviews with Ruben Diaz, he does look like someone that takes himself very seriously, right? He does look like someone. I mean, you've seen his family as well. His family definitely look like they might have bodies under the stairs. I'll be honest with you, right? His family look, but that's why I think it's funny that they're mocking him, because I can imagine he's the type that doesn't like being the piss taken out of, right? Yeah. So the fact that Bernardo's telling him you look like a geography teacher, I think like Ruben thinks. To be fair, Ruben is a stylish fucker, but he looks like someone that also thinks he's a stylish fucker. So if he's got little Bernardo Silva, who's the most unstylish guy in the training room, telling him you look like a geography teacher, I find that hilarious.
Yeah. Do you not think any of the players, when Pep turns up on a bloody bike to the going away party to KDB, do you think no one's gone, what are you doing here, boss? You know, that's what you want. You want a laugh and a giggle.
Yeah, when Pep turning up in Dens, he said, if I speak, I'm in big trouble. Someone else said about the geography teacher thing. And
you know what it is? You know why people are going to go at Diaz? Because they're jealous because they're not getting it on with Maya Jammer.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's what it is.
Oh, hell yeah. The best tweet I saw about that was from Tickets guy, who literally said, there's a picture of Maya Jammer on a boat with Diaz, right? And he put, well, there's Diaz gone next season. There's Diaz performances down the drain next season. But then he said, but sometimes you have to just say, fair play, mate. Yeah. And that is literally it with Ruben Diaz. Listen.
But you get the opposite. Declan Rice gets absolute torrid of abuse because pictures of his partner comes out and they all start putting the hate crap on.
Hey.
It's like, come on.
Anyway.
So just let the guy, what it means is you need to try harder in the nightclubs, people. Try a bit harder.
I mean, that, or alternatively, you get invited to the fucking MTV Music Awards as a fucking VIP, right? Because let's not act like he met Maya Jama in any old nightclub, right? He's a VIP.
Yeah,
right?
he wasn't in the press
200
club in town.
200 grand a week in fucking an MTV awards show, right? Now listen, give me that wage, invite me to the MTV Music Awards, and I might be able to leave with Declan Rice's missus. I don't know about Rubens. I don't know about Rubens. I don't know about Rubens.
You know, as long as he's not like, you know, guest hosting bloody Love Island in the next 12 months, I'm all right. He can do what he wants.
You never
but
know.
He better not be on Love Island in the next 12 months. Then I will be having words.
Do you know what I always think about, though? Because we've seen pictures of Ruben Diaz's family, yeah? I always think about Maya Jama meeting the family.
And running out the back door.
They're interesting. They're all like just not smiling at her, just looking at her, hello. And she's like, oh. Anyway, right. So
would you like to come and look at the meat farm out back?
Yeah, no, I'm fine, cheers. I'm fine, cheers. I'm fine. Right then. So that is it for today. We might get some more news, but I always feel like news drops round about this time. So we've had Ben Jacobs drop in that. What's this? Bastoni. Yeah, I haven't seen any links with Bastoni.
I'll tell you what, there is a player. And I don't know if House Captain's in the oh yeah, he is.
He is.
Branthwaite.
Chelsea.
I know City are interested.
Really?
But I know who I'd like. I would prefer a Mark Gay. I like Mark Gay a lot. I like Mark Gay a lot. I have major concerns on Branthwaite because I think at 22. The amount of injuries he's got, I'm like, we're signing John Stones version 2.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, like, let's say Stones is going. Let's say we keep a Kanji. Vardy.
LB98 said they're both going Chelsea. How would Chelsea get away with this?
What?
Oh, they're buying both Gay and Branthwaite.
Hold on, Martin. This is don't throw stones at them. Right? Do not throw stones. Don't say about how are Chelsea getting away with this when we're about to spend. We just spent 180 million and we're about to spend a load more.
Yeah, we've not spent anything in like 2 years.
I get it. But come on. Let's not invite the hate, Martin.
Sorry. I'll see you all at the Mancunian Way at 9:30.
Yeah, Mancunian Way 9:30. What are you talking on?
We're just going to talk about the Viana rebuild. We're going to talk about some players going out, see what everyone thinks. Obviously, the Reijnders deal's advanced.
Yeah.
I may have a couple of bits. No doubt I'll get some text message in the next 2 hours.
Oh, really? Oh, just like that? Yeah, of course.
No, honestly, I'm not even, because like I said, I'm not the IT. I've always said this. I'm not the ITK. The person I speak to is. I'm like the middle guy.
Yeah, same. Of course, I know. I'm.
You know what it is. You get. Oh, I've been.
I know. I don't, Martin. I don't get them. I don't.
Yes, you do.
No,
how do you know about Grealish then?
Yeah, but I don't just get messages. That's if I'm on the phone.
No, chat. You know what he did the other day in True City Pat's channel? Me and Steve were having a chat with Alvarez's brother. I don't get that.
All right, but this is now closed season. So we're in the closed season. The only info I get is if I happen to be on the phone, if I ring up my mate and my mate happens to tell me something. Whereas you said literally in the next 2 hours, you're bound to get a couple of text messages.
I will.
Well, there we go. So you win. You're the bigger ITK. I know fuck all. You know a lot. Well, you've got Viana, Fabrizio, and Ornstein, and actually Caldoun that personally message your little phone. Anyway, this is going to head over to this is going to head over to Big Six Bants, where Monts and Co. They're going to be talking about all the other transfer news away from Manchester City. They'll probably talk on City as well. Please go over there, smash a like on the way and drop a comment. Mancunian Way will be at 9:30, so head over there. And we will be back tomorrow morning where I have Alan on. So haven't spoke to Alan for about a week, so it should be a good fun.
I'll warm him up for you tonight.
I'll warm him up for me, please do. Pause. And on that note, we're going to leave
not anyone from the class.
Oh, there goes. Look, ITK's going. In the meanwhile, I'm going to leave you with our very own ITK, Mr. Hamza.
like that. You know when guys are wearing socks like that playing ball, I don't take you seriously. Pull out your socks like that. Yeah. Luke Shaw does the same thing. Florian Wirtz wears socks on his ankles. He wears socks on his ankles. Yeah. The Premier League are dead. Sit there, please. Take your inhaler. Put it there and put my mask. You see that? Until you breathe in. Hey, he's gonna bring inhalers. He's bringing inhalers, bro. I think our players are gonna be running, bro. You know we say we don't track back, guys. You will see Madness track back. Our players will have inhalers in half time.
I need that. We need that.